All right, boys, here we go. Instant reaction. I'm not. This is going to be a bit of a one take, no cuts, no edits. This is just video straight out to you guys. Basically, just running through what we've just seen. The Phoenix Suns have just been swept in the first round by the Minnesota Timberwolves. We know the Phoenix Suns at the start of the year had high expectations for them. We all did. Kevin Durant coming over mid-season last year, along with Devin Booker, and now they brought Bradley Beal over this season. They had high hopes. I think at the start of the year, the bookies on all the gambling websites had them close to the favourites to win it all. They're, built as a super team pretty much. They had Bradley Beal, who's been an all-star year in and year out for years at Washington. Kevin Durant, who we all know is one of the top players in the league or not even in the league of all time. And Devin Booker has been widely renowned as the best shooting guard in the league for the last few years. Maybe after today that argument can be had between him and Anthony Edwards. But that's a story for another day. It's embarrassing if I'm going to be completely honest. For them to not only lose in the first round, considering they were the favourite and the team that they built around them, but to be swept. Like, 2 games away and 2 games at home, nothing. Have absolutely nothing to show for it. Got disgraced in 3 out of the 4 games, mind you. I think this last game that we just watched was the only decently close game in the series. Minnesota won by 10, 15 points for each of the 3 games. Like, it was not close. And it's, as I said, it's embarrassing. Devin Booker, hats off to Devin. He had 45. He tried to keep his team in it. Kevin Durant had 30 plus. Like, these 2 dudes showed what they were going to be for the whole year in this game. Is that these 2 dudes were going to put the team on their back and they were going to hopefully, take them to the promised land with a bunch of minimum contract dudes, such as, Royce O'Neal hit some big shots, but Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, who I'm not sure if he's injured or not, just didn't play in the playoffs. He was nowhere to be seen. These other dudes that I have all on minimum contracts. Yusuf Nurkic was huge for them during the regular season. In the playoffs, through these 4 games, did absolutely nothing. Bradley Beal, who was the third piece of their big 3 today, did an absolute no-show. He had 9 points and 6 fouls, fouled out with about 6 minutes left. Couldn't even contribute to the team when it mattered most at the end of the game. I have no words right now. It's just crazy to me that this has happened. I would be slightly more considerate to them if they had won a game. They just got swept. You have Kevin Durant, who is arguably one of the top 15 best players in basketball ever, and you get swept in the first round by a 23-year-old. I can't fathom it. Mike Conley was the best point guard in the series. And because, Devin Booker is not meant to run point guard. No matter what the experiment was this year, we had Devin Booker running point. It didn't work. Not a chance in the world it worked. Kevin Durant had, as I said, 30-plus points. They really tried their best today. Bradley Beal gave him nothing. Grayson Allen didn't play. Royce O'Neal hit a couple of shots, but that was it. They're just... Eric Gordon missed some for him layups down the stretch. He had wide open wing jump shots, which he's been hitting all year on a consistent basis. He's a plus 3-point shooter, and that's literally the whole reason they brought him in the team. And he couldn't make wide open shots in a game that was on the verge of sending them home. And now they're gone. And look, the front office, Frank Vogel, they brought him in. Frank Vogel, we know, is a pretty decent coach when it comes to working with superstars. But to me, at the end of the day, the super team era is dead. You can't just bring these 3 max players who are worth $150 million. You're paying them $50 million each, for crying out loud. $50 million a year for all 3 of them. So you got $150 million a year going into 3 dudes. So the rest of the season, they're just going to have to turn it around again with, I don't know, more minimum contract players and just hope that they're better than the ones that they have now. Grayson Allen had a pretty good year. He was shooting the ball efficiently, but he just wasn't there during playoff time. And Eric Gordon hit some shots for them during the year, but he just wasn't that in the end. Drew Eubanks, Yusuf Nurkic, all their big guys. Yusuf Nurkic had some big games during the year, 20s and 20s, 20 rebound, 20 points. For these 4 games, gave him absolutely nothing. I can't wrap my head around it. And full respect to Kevin and Devin, they were the only 2 in this game that actually came to play. But the Timberwolves are just too good, I guess. I know, like, I'm going to get in another video later on going into detail with the Timberwolves, and because the Timberwolves, in all fairness, deserve all the credit in the world. They played absolutely out of their mind. Anthony Edwards is potentially the dude that everyone says he is. And he's just... It blows my mind. There's nothing that I can really say to comprehend how they get swept in the first round with Kevin Durant on your team. There's just, like, I could go on for days about it realistically, but at the end of the day, firing Monty Williams, I don't see was a good choice for them. He was a good coach. He brought them to a 60-win season 2 years ago when they actually had pieces around him. As they said on the broadcast, they have no first-round picks until 2030. No first-round picks until 2030. So the way it works is they're just going to have to, unless they somehow get rid of one of these players with these massive contracts, but after what's happened now, nobody's going to stick their head out to get Brad Beal. Nobody's going to stick their head out to get Kevin Durant. You know, everyone would want Kevin Durant on his team. But nobody's going to want any of those contracted players that they have because they've just gone into a playoff series and gotten absolutely disgraced. It was, as I said, 15-point games for 3 of the 4 games. This was the only close game. And down the stretch at the end, they actually made a good play. Yusuf Nurkic deliberately missed a free throw, goes to Royce O'Neal for a wide-open jump shot. There was people closing out on him, of course, but there was no one close to him, and he barely grazed front rim. I have no words. Bradley Beal fouling out with 6 minutes left. Kevin Durant actually having a good performance as well as Devin, but Devin got a couple of buckets along the stretch, but couldn't make the clutch shots. And it blows my mind. Mike Conley, as I said, best point guard in the series because there's no point guard on that team. They need someone in that offense that is going to set them up and put them in their place. That's why the Suns made a finals run years ago. First of all, they had role players that actually did their role and made an effective challenge. And they had a point guard in Chris Paul who would set up the offense. Devin Booker, as good of a scorer as he is, isn't a guy that's going to set up your offense. And I don't know. I don't know what's next for this team realistically. Brad, Kevin, and Devin are all under contract for the next few years on, as I said, $50 million each. So I don't know what goes on from here. I seriously don't. Shout out to the Timberwolves. You guys played a hell of a series. The Jada McDaniels meme lives to see another day. I'm sure it's going to be all over my timeline tonight. Because the Suns, I just have no words. They're done. Until next year. But losing in 4 games with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant on your team, 4 games. I would have excused it if it was at least a decent series, but 4 games. I know you guys are the 6 seed and they're the 3 seed, but you have the top 2. You had probably had the best 2 players in the series in Kevin and Devin. They're, multi-time All-Stars. Kevin Durant is that good and Devin Booker is cementing a legacy. But you just couldn't win. It makes no sense to me. Anyway, that's it. That's all my rant for today. I have no other words to say other than Phoenix Suns, I guess we'll see next year. Timberwolves, well played, hell of a series. You guys deserve it. I'm sure they'll be on to see the Nuggets next round, but only time will tell. But yeah, that's it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow with another video recapping all this, but that's just my brain right now.